Day viewers, on 19 July in New York, the forerunner to the SDG Summit in September has ended today, under the auspices of the UN Economic and Social Council, with a renewed call for urgent and collective action to deliver the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. These SDGs remain the world's blueprint for a more resilient, peaceful, and inclusive future. Over 100 countries joined businesses, civil society, organizations, youth, and others during the 8 days of the forum to share successes, experiences, and lessons learned from the SDGs. The forum, which focused this year on specific goals related to sustainable energy, clean water, infrastructure and innovation, sustainable cities, and lastly partnerships, stressed the critical need for the bold and transformative action at the local level.
Only 12% of SDG targets are on track. Based on an initial evaluation of approximately 140 targets for which data is accessible, the challenge of achieving the SDGs within the next 7 years is daunting yet feasible. We are at the midpoint of 2030, and we have made a little progress toward realizing the SDGs. The unfavorable news is that we have squandered 7 years. The positive aspect is that there are still 7 years remaining, and success is attainable, stated by the UN Economic and Social Council President Lachizara Stoeva. However, nations need to incorporate the SDGs into their national development plans, policies, and strategies. A vigorous effort is necessary to accelerate progress, and it is vital to align national priorities with the SDGs to guarantee a coherent and comprehensive approach to sustainable development. Certain areas have seen development. According to the SDGs Report 2023, Special Edition, between 2015 and 2021, 800 million individuals had access to energy. Since 2010, effective HIV therapy has reduced AIDS-related fatalities worldwide by 52%, and 146 countries have already met or are on track to fulfill the under 5 mortality target. One thing that really sticks out as we approach the halfway point of 2030 is that change is achievable. It's not inevitable to regress. At the forum's inauguration, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres declared that poverty, pollution, and gender inequality are not inevitable. These are the things that can be stopped, issues that can be resolved, catastrophes that can be prevented, and lives that can be saved.
Now, we will pass the mic to Ms. Gerzon as they will explain tasks ahead for SDG. Ms. Gerzon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Deonon and Ms. Ramos. And about the SDG, the United Nations High-Level Political Forum, or HLPF, countries from around the world continue to present their progress toward achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, through a process known as Voluntary National Reviews, or BNRs. These reports serve as a key platform for governments to assess their efforts under the 2030 Agenda and share updates with the international community. BNRs are designed to be voluntary and country-led, allowing each nation to decide how and when to present its progress. This approach enables government to highlight their unique priorities, strategies, and challenges without the pressure or formal evaluation or ranking. Instead of being judged, countries use the process as an opportunity for reflection and improvement. The primary goal of the review is to track national progress while promoting transparency and accountability. By presenting their findings publicly, governments provide insights into the effectiveness of their policies and programs. This openness also encourages continued commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, as countries remain accountable to both their citizens and the global community. A defining feature of BNRs is their inclusive and participatory nature. Governments are encouraged to involve various sectors of society in the preparation of the reports, including local authorities, private organizations, and civil society groups. This multi-stakeholders approach helps ensure that the reviews reflect real condition and diverse perspective, making the report more comprehensive and credible. The reviews are typically presented during the annual HLPF sessions, often held in July at the United Nations headquarters in New York. During these meetings, countries deliver both detailed reports and summarize main messages, providing highlights of their progress and key challenges. The forum also creates opportunities for countries to exchange ideas and learn from one another's experiences. Since the adoption of 2030 Agenda in 2015, participation in BNRs has steadily increased. Hundreds of countries have taken part in the process, with many returning to present updated reports. This ongoing engagement reflects a sustained global commitment to achieve the SDGs, despite varying levels of development and resources among the nations. Experts note that the significance of BNRs extends beyond reporting. The process helps strengthen national planning system by aligning policies with sustainable development targets. It also encourages improvements in data collection and monitoring, which are essential for accurately measuring progress. In addition, the reviews foster international cooperation by promoting the exchange of knowledge, strategies, and best practices. As the 2030 deadline approaches, BNR remain a crucial tool in assessing global reports towards sustainable development by promoting transparency, collaboration, and continuous improvement. The process supports countries in working toward a more sustainable and inclusive future.
And now, we will be taking around the world and asking one of our journalists their feedback or what happened in specific countries. Central African Republic, you're up.
In the Central African Republic, the number of mobile phone users has increased significantly, rising from 35.6% in 2018 to 56.7% in 2022, an overall leap of 21 percentage points in just 4 years. This rapid growth highlights the country's accelerating access to digital technology, even in the face of ongoing economic and infrastructural challenges.
And witness a nation in love with the mobile phone. Virtually everyone has one, and if they aren't talking on it, they are texting with it or just holding it. Where would you be without it?
Without it?
Yeah, if you
my life will definitely come to a stop.
Why?
Because, okay, I do a lot of stuff with my phone. Like, it runs my life.
Yeah.
I meet my clients, I call them, I text them.
So it's important to you.
It's very important to me.
The expansion of mobile connectivity has played a crucial role in improving communication across both urban and rural areas, where traditional infrastructure such as landlines remains limited. For many citizens, mobile phones have become the primary means of accessing information, financial services, and social networks. This shift has also supported the rise of mobile-based solutions, including digital payments and online services, which are increasingly important for economic participation. Moreover, the increase reflects broader regional and global trends in digital adoption, where mobile technology often serves as the first and most accessible gateway to the internet. In the Central African Republic, this growth suggests progress in bridging the digital divide, although gaps in connectivity and affordability still persist. Despite these challenges, the steady rise in mobile phone usage indicates a positive trajectory toward greater digital inclusion and economic opportunity in the country. Now, I will pass more latest updates to Ms. Comendador, for they will be handling Comoros.
Thank you, Mr. Kayabyab. Now, according to the government of the Comoros, it continues to advance its initiatives to increase renewable energy capacity to 40% by 2030, reflecting a strong commitment to sustainable development and energy security. This target is part of the country's broader strategy to reduce its dependence on imported fossil fuels, which have historically made electricity both expensive and unreliable for many citizens. To achieve this goal, the government has been investing in renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and geothermal power. Given the country's geographic location and climate, solar energy in particular offers significant potential with abundant sunlight throughout the year. Efforts are also being made to modernize energy infrastructure, improve grid reliability, and expand electricity access to underserved and rural communities. In addition, the Comoros is working in partnership with international organizations and development agencies to secure funding, technical expertise, and policy support. These collaborations aim to accelerate project implementation and ensure that renewable energy systems are both efficient and sustainable in the long term. The push toward renewable energy is expected to bring multiple benefits, including reduced greenhouse gas emissions, lower energy costs, and improved economic resilience. It also aligns with global efforts to combat climate change and supports the country's commitments under international sustainability frameworks. While challenges such as limited sources and infrastructure constraints remain, the government's continued focus on renewable energy signals a positive step toward a more sustainable and self-sufficient energy in the future. Now, I will pass more latest updates to Ms. Casas for they will be handling what is happening in Europe.
The Green Deal strives to make Europe as the first world climate-neutral continent by 2050, setting an ambitious roadmap for transforming the region's economy and society. Introduced by the European Commission, the initiative aimed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, promote sustainable industries, and protect environment while ensuring economic growth. At the heart of the plan, it is a commitment to drastically cut emissions through cleaner energy, improve energy efficiency, and the transition away from the fossil fuels. This includes expanding the renewable energy sources such as wind and solar, as well as investing in innovative technologies like green hydrogen. This strategy is also encourage industry to adopt more sustainable production methods, supporting the shift toward the circular economy where resources and reuse and waste is minimized.
The Green Deal goes beyond energy and industry by addressing sectors such as agriculture, transportation, and construction. It promotes environmentally friendly farming practices aimed to reduce pollution and support the development of cleaner transport systems, including electric vehicles and expanded public transit. Additionally, it seeks to ensure that this transition is fair and inclusive, providing support for the regions and communities that may most affected by the shift away from the traditional industries. To support these efforts, the European Union has introduced policies and funding mechanisms designed to drive investment in sustainable projects and innovation. These measures are aligned with the international climate commitments, including the goals of the Paris Agreement, reinforcing Europe's role as the global leader in climate action.
While challenges remain, such as balancing economic demands with environmental goals, the European Green Deal represents a comprehensive and forward-looking approach to tackling the climate changes. By aiming for climate neutrality by 2050, it sets a benchmark for other regions and highlights the importance of the collective action in building a sustainable future. Now, I will pass the latest update to Mr. Macario, where they will be handling the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia has made significant progress in creating jobs, with a particular focus on female labor force participation, which rose from 19.4% in 2015 to 36% in 2022. This notable increase reflects the country's broader efforts to diversify its economy and promote inclusive growth under its long-term development strategy. And to also mention, a key part of this progress has been the introduction of reforms aimed at expanding opportunities for women in the workforce. This includes easing restrictions on employment, improving access to education and training, and encouraging private sector companies to hire more women. As a result, more women are entering industries such as retail, healthcare, education, and even sectors that were previously less accessible, such as finance and technology. And in addition, the government initiatives have focused on creating supportive work environment by promoting flexible work arrangements, entrepreneurship programs, and policies that help balance work and family responsibilities. Investments also in digital infrastructure have also opened new pathways for remote work and online businesses, further increasing women's participation in the economy. And this rise in female labor force participation has contributed not only to job creation, but also to overall economic growth and social development. By empowering more women to join the workforce, Saudi Arabia is strengthening its human capital and reducing its reliance on oil-driven revenues. While challenges remain, such as ensuring long-term job sustainability and equal opportunities, the country's progress marks a significant step toward a more diversified and inclusive economy. Now I will pass more of the latest updates to Dumalau, for they shall explain the progress in tourism.
Tourism and its ancillary sectors have rebounded sharply in St. Kitts and Nevis, contributing to real GDP growth of 9% in 2022, after contracting by 14.5% in 2020 and 0.9% in 2021. This strong recovery reflects the reopening of international travel and the return of visitors following the severe disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The tourism sector, which serves as a major pillar of the country's economy, saw increased activity in hotels, restaurants, transportation, and other related services. Cruise ship arrivals and air travel also resumed, bringing a steady flow of tourists back to the islands. This resurgence helped restore jobs, revive small businesses, and stimulate overall economic activity across multiple sectors. Government efforts played a key role in supporting this recovery, including health and safety measures that reassured travelers, as well as targeted initiatives to promote the destination internationally. Investments in tourism infrastructure and digital marketing further strengthened the country's competitiveness in the global travel market. The rebound has not only improved economic performance, but also highlighted the resilience of the tourism industry in St. Kitts and Nevis. However, it also underscores the importance of diversifying the economy to reduce vulnerability and external shocks. Moving forward, the country aims to build a more sustainable and resilient tourism sector while continuing to support long-term economic growth.
This program with breaking news. The most vulnerable countries are bearing the brunt of the world's collective failure to accelerate progress on the SDGs. The nations, often already facing structural challenges such as limited resources, weak infrastructure, and exposure to climate risks, are now confronting overlapping crises that make sustainable development even more difficult to achieve. At present, 37 out of the 69 world poorest countries are in debt distress or at high risk, hampering their ability to accelerate action on the SDGs. High levels of debt limit government spending on essential services such as healthcare, education, and social protection, forcing difficult trade-offs that slow development progress. Many of these countries must prioritize debt repayment over investments that could improve the well-being of their populations, creating a cycle that is difficult to break without international support and financial reform. More than 108 million people as of December 2022 were possibly displaced from their homes. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, this unprecedented level of displacement reflects a growing number of conflicts, national disaster, and humanitarian crises around the world. Displacement not only disrupts lives and communities but also places additional pressure on host countries, many of which are themselves developing nations with limited capacity to respond. There was also a steep rise in conflict-related civilian deaths with over a 50% surge in 2022, fueled in large part by the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The war has had far-reaching global consequences, including disruption to food and energy supplies, rising inflation, and increased economic uncertainty.
These impacts are felt most strongly in vulnerable countries that rely heavily on imports and have limited means to absorb external shock. Together, these challenges highlight the urgent need for stronger global cooperation and more inclusive solutions. Without coordinated efforts to address debt burdens, support displaced population, and reduce conflicts, the gap between the world's most vulnerable countries and more developed nations is likely to widen. Accelerating progress on the SDGs would require not only national commitment, but also sustained international solidarity to ensure that no country is left behind.
In conclusion, the challenges we have discussed, rising debt, mass displacement, and increasing conflict, clearly show that the world's most vulnerable countries are being left behind in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. These nations are facing a combination of crises that not only slow their progress but also deepen existing inequalities. One of the most pressing issues is the growing debt burden, with 37 out of the 69 poorest countries either in debt distress or at high risk. Governments are forced to prioritize debt repayment over essential services. This means less funding for healthcare, education, infrastructure, and social protection, services that are critical for improving quality of life and supporting long-term development. As a result, progress becomes stalled and opportunities for growth become limited. At the same time, the world is experiencing an unprecedented level of displacement. Over 108 million people have been forced to leave their homes due to conflict, violence, and other crises. This not only disrupts lives and communities, but also places immense pressure on host countries, many of which are already struggling with limited resources. Displacement affects access to education, employment, and basic services, creating long-term challenges for both displaced population and the countries that receive them. Adding to these concerns is the sharp rise in conflict rate. Adding to these concerns is the sharp rise in conflict-related deaths, which surged significantly in recent years. Conflicts not only result in the loss of lives, but also destroy infrastructure, weaken economies, and disrupt governance systems. The effects of this conflict extend beyond borders, influencing global food security, energy prices, and economic stability. All of these issues are deeply interconnected. Debt limits a country's ability to respond to crisis. Conflict drives displacement. Displacement, in turn, strains already fragile systems. Together, they create a cycle that is difficult to break, especially for countries with fewer resources and limited support. As we approach the 2030 deadline for the Sustainable Development Goals, the urgency to act has never been greater. If current trends continue, many countries will struggle to meet key targets, particularly those related to poverty reduction, health, education, and equality. This growing gap between nations is not only a development issue, it is a global concern that affects stability and progress worldwide.
These challenges highlight the need for stronger global cooperation and shared responsibility. No country can address these issues alone, and meaningful progress will require collective action from the international community. Wealthier nations, international organizations, and financial institutions all play a crucial role in supporting vulnerable countries. One important step is addressing the global debt crisis. Providing debt, relief, or restructuring options can give countries the financial space they need to invest in their people and economies. In addition, increasing funding for development programs can help improve access to essential services and strengthen national systems. Support is also needed for displaced populations. This includes humanitarian aid, access to education and healthcare, and long-term solutions that help individuals rebuild their lives. At the same time, efforts to prevent and resolve conflicts must be strengthened to address the root causes of displacement and instability.
In the end, the future depends on the choices we make today. By working together and taking responsibility as a global community, we can move closer to a world that is more inclusive, stable, and sustainable. Thank you for watching this news.